Hello and welcome to another 7 stories in, as near as I can get, 7 minutes. And I just want to give you the heads up to those of you that have enjoyed the Sundays. We're also doing bonuses as well. And next week we're going to be having a bonus on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So keep your eyes out for that and we'll try and do them as much as we can. But for today, story 1, genomics. What is genomics about anyway? Is it real? Well, I'm going to be speaking to Cheryl Granger very soon, who's going to be revealing some, well, she's going to be giving some startling revelations, let's say that, but keep your eyes out. But in the meantime, the NHS are very keen to genomic test all of us, including babies. Don't forget, we're going to be genomic testing from birth. And they're relying now on us as lab rats to sell their agenda of life sciences, you know, your life, their science. So whilst patients in hospital aren't getting the basic nursing care, you know, the clean sheets and tender loving care, make sure they've had a drink. No, we're going to upskill nurses now into becoming genomic nurses. So the UK government have got this plan. It's called the Genomic Population Health Services. And they're creating that because they want these specially trained nurses to be able to help you navigate your journey through the genomic testing. Let's wait and see what Cheryl Granger says, and then you can make up your own mind. Genomics and nurses. Maybe nurses like me are going to be gone for good. I think so. Story 2, food. Well, according to Sky, the UK is totally unprepared for food shortages. That's a surprise, isn't it? Oh, yeah, thanks Angela Rayner. You know, she's getting rid of the allotments, remember? She's letting council sell them off so we can't grow our own food. Convenient, don't you think? But anyway, farmers getting hit by tax, not to mention forced to close. What is happening to the food distribution network chain? Well, we're spending billions on defence, Ministry of Defence, but we're allowing our population to starve. Really? Yes, really. Because according to Tom Bradshaw, he says that the UK has a criminal dependency on other countries for food. That is shocking. This is not sustainability. This is unsustainability, right? And what are we going to eat? Eat Z-bugs, according to Klaus Schwab. Oh, and by the way, how much food are we buying in for the illegal migrants? I've seen an awful lot of deliveries turning up at these hotels. Anyway, on to story 3. Let's talk about pharmacists, because if you're watching pharmacists, thank you, because we do understand that you are overwhelmed, and you are, because what pharmacists are saying now in a report by Community Pharmacy is that the sector has seen a 30% funding cut, and pharmacists are actually dipping into their own pockets, you know, and they're funding this system for us. That's not right. They're completely overwhelmed because the care has now moved from hospitals. I said to you, you wouldn't be going to hospital, and you won't. It's coming from hospitals into the community. So don't forget, National Health Service, that's gone. We've got neighbourhood health service, and the pharmacists are overwhelmed. They can't cope. Shout out for your pharmacist next time. I know lots of us don't like allopathic medicine, so don't throw the custard pies too soon. But whilst we're talking about drugs, let's talk about drug shortages, because what the pharmacists are saying is because of Brexit and the ability for manufacturers to sell their drugs to Europe at better prices, we in the UK have got drug shortages. In particular, we're talking ADHD, HRT, hormone replacement therapy, and also some pancreatic enzymes. They're the most common, and they're in short supply. So what is going on? Well, of course, we know that the NHS isn't going to be getting cheap drugs anymore. It's going to be getting expensive drugs because the US want us to pay more. So make America great again, pay less. But the shortages now that we've got, the pharmacists are saying they're unsustainable and they can endanger patients' lives. So drug shortages, we're going to see more of that moving on. Let's keep to drug shortages actually, because story 5 is antibiotics, and I'm not surprised by seeing this article in Pharma Forum. Where have all the antibiotics gone? Well, we appear to have conveniently got a supply chain problem. That's handy, isn't it? Meaning that the familiar antibiotics that we're all used to, amoxicillin, penicillin, cheap as chips by the way, they're all going by the wayside. And they're making room for these new antimicrobials and antifungals that we really don't know about because they're novel and most of them are untested. But the antibiotics that we're used to, the amoxicillins and the penicillins, these are broad spectrum antibiotics, very valuable in our armoury for bacterial infections. And we've talked about antimicrobial resistance so many times before. Dame Sally Davis, the UK envoy for antimicrobial resistance, is standing in the wings waiting for centre stage. So this winter, are we going to be seeing bacterial infections and shortages of antibiotics? I think we may. Dame Sally Davis warming up, not a nice sight. Anyway, story 6, China. Did anybody catch this story in the Daily Telegraph? Right at the bottom of the page it was, and I know you can see Rachel Reeves there, smiling through the pain, but tucked in the bottom is this little tiny story, and the headline is China sets out vision for new world order. And did you know that China, Russia and India, and I think maybe North Korea, don't hold me to that, but maybe, they've been attending a summit to discuss the dominance of the US-led West. Keep an eye on China. If anybody tells you there's nothing to see in China, I'd say that was fake news. Social credits. And as if that hadn't been bad enough, story 7, the doom loop. Have you heard of it? I hadn't, so I went to have a bit of a look, and I found out actually Liz Truss is an expert. So if you're listening, Liz, if you're watching, give us a shout, and maybe you can give us a bit of an introductory crash course into the doom loop, which is an economic doom loop. So people are talking about financial collapse and financial instability. This is where one negative event compounds onto the next and the next, and you kind of end up in this never-ending loop of doom. Well, that's what they call it anyway. Yeah, I'd say, are we in a doom loop? It is a bit doomy, isn't it? But I would say that's what the government want you to feel, doom and gloom. Don't. Keep smiling, enjoy every second, and have fun. So don't let the doom get to you. But that, everybody, is 7 stories in nearly 7 minutes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And if you like, please share and keep smiling.